Entry, descent, and landing is often referred to as the 7 minutes of terror because it takes about 7 minutes to get from the top of the atmosphere of Mars to the ground safely.
We'd made it through launch, cruise, EDL, all of that, and we were ready now to begin our real mission, our real life on Mars. And we were all excited to see what Ingenuity could really do. We were ready for Flight 1.
NASA's biggest question is, could Mars have once hosted life? The Perseverance rover might finally hold the answer. Its recent discoveries have stunned scientists, uncovering clues that hint Mars was once more than just a barren rock. What has this intrepid rover found on the red planet that could rewrite everything we know? So what exactly has it found? The Mars exploration timeline. In the 1960s, humans turned their focus toward Mars with wonder and, let's admit it, a bit of audacity. The red planet had captivated scientists for centuries, but now it was time to get up close and personal, or at least as close as a spacecraft could get. The Soviet Union kicked off the first real attempt in 1960 with Marsnik 1, a spacecraft that was supposed to reach Mars but didn't even make it out of Earth's orbit. It was a rough start, sure, but it was only the beginning of the space race's bold attempts to crack the mysteries of Mars. NASA entered the race with Mariner 4 in 1964, launching an ambitious mission to Mars to finally capture actual images of this mysterious neighbor. And it worked. Mariner 4 managed to fly by Mars, snapping the first ever close-up photos of the planet, and you have to admit that these grainy, black and white images might not impress today. But back then, they were revolutionary. For the first time, we saw that Mars wasn't just a blank red dot, but a barren, hollow plant. With that, curiosity was on the next level. Fast forward to the 1970s, and NASA launched the Viking program, a real game changer in Mars exploration. Viking 1 and Viking 2 not only orbited Mars, but actually landed on it, making history as the first successful landers on the planet. These robotic explorers sent back stunning color images and performed experiments to detect life in the Martian soil. Spoiler alert, they didn't find any aliens, but they did find some shocking signs that Mars once had water. The images sparked theories that it could have been habitable long, long ago. After the Viking program, things quieted down for a bit. Mars exploration took a back seat as technology developed, budgets fluctuated, and scientists re-strategized. But in the 1990s, Mars fever struck again. NASA was back, this time with something more advanced. So what was NASA up to, and how it changed the whole concept of Mars exploration? Rovers on a mission to Mars. Our exploration of Mars has come a long way, starting with orbiters that simply circled the planet from above, giving us distant views of its red, dusty surface. However, in the 1970s, NASA took things a step further with the Viking landers, who actually touched down on Mars. Suddenly, we had our first close-up view of the Martian ground. But there was a lack in these landers. They were like statues. They could only look around from one spot. It was incredible, but we needed to explore the whole 144.4 million square kilometers. This was the foundation of the next big idea, rovers. Imagine a robot that could move around on another planet, exploring and sending back data. It sounded almost too ambitious. But in 1997, NASA made it happen with Sojourner, the first ever Mars rover. Small and slow, yes, but Sojourner proved it was possible. This tiny rover sparked a new way of thinking about how we could explore other worlds, setting the stage for even bigger missions. NASA took the challenge seriously, and Mars rovers became more advanced over the years. Soon we had rovers capable of surviving harsh conditions, climbing over rocks, and even sending back shocking images of the planet Mars. These rovers allowed us to interact with Mars like never before. They weren't just observing, they were exploring, sampling, and sharing their findings. The rover missions were game changers. For the first time, we weren't just looking at Mars, we were getting to know it. Rovers became our eyes and hands on the planet, slowly revealing details that orbiters and stationary landers couldn't. And with each new rover, we got closer to answering one of humanity's biggest questions. Could Mars have supported life? NASA's rover program turned Mars from a distant mystery into a planet we could explore. Each rover made Mars exploration more exciting than the last. Want to know the secrets these rovers discovered on Mars? To find the answers, we must look at each rover's purpose and its unique role in the mission. Timeline of Mars rovers. Let's rewind to the 1990s when NASA decided it was time to shake things up with a new kind of Mars mission. Orbiters and landers were great, but NASA wanted something to move around, get closer to those mysterious rocks, and explore the land. So in 1997, they launched Sojourner, the first ever rover sent to Mars. Now, Sojourner wasn't a massive machine. Imagine a little robot about the size of a microwave with wheels. It wasn't breaking any speed records, but it had something priceless: mobility. Sojourner's mission was part of NASA's Mars Pathfinder program, designed to test if a robot could survive Mars. Mars, as we know, isn't exactly a warm, welcoming place. It's cold, dusty, and filled with rocky obstacles. But Sojourner was up for the challenge. This little rover rolled out onto the Martian soil in July 1997 and started exploring Ares Vallis, an area scientists thought might have evidence of past water flow. Although Sojourner only operated for 83 days, not a bad run for a tiny pioneer, it achieved big things. It analyzed rocks, sent back the first close-up images of Mars, and showed that, yes, rovers could be our eyes and wheels on the red planet. Sojourner proved that Mars could be explored, and it sparked a wave of new missions that would follow in its tracks. The success of Sojourner gave NASA the confidence to aim higher. Fast forward to 2004, and NASA was sending not one but two rovers to Mars. These were the twin rovers, Spirit and Opportunity, each with a mission to explore opposite sides of the planet. And these two weren't playing around. Spirit and Opportunity were built to last 90 days, but turned out to be overachievers. Spirit roamed the Martian landscape for 6 years, while Opportunity continued for 15 years. Can you imagine that? These rovers were explorers in every sense, uncovering evidence that Mars had once been a wetter world. Spirit and Opportunity found minerals that only form in water, hinting that Mars might have had rivers or lakes long ago. Opportunity made one of the biggest finds, discovering small, round rocks nicknamed blueberries. These rocks were proof that liquid water once flowed across Mars, leaving behind these mineral deposits. It was a huge discovery, something scientists had hoped to find, but weren't sure was even possible. Imagine Mars, a planet we always considered a dusty desert, could have been a place with flowing water, maybe even a habitable environment. But the twins didn't stop there. They climbed hills, crossed plains, and even survived Martian dust storms that could have easily ended their missions. Opportunity, in particular, had a close call when a massive dust storm covered Mars, blocking sunlight and threatening to drain its solar-powered batteries. But it survived and kept exploring, showing Mars had more layers to its story than we ever imagined. Eventually, Spirit got stuck in a sand trap and lost contact with Earth in 2010, while Opportunity continued until a massive dust storm finally silenced it in 2018. By the end, these rovers had traveled tens of kilometers across Mars, making discoveries that rewrote our understanding of the planet. After Spirit and Opportunity's success, NASA wanted to go even bigger, literally. So in 2012, they sent Curiosity, a rover that was roughly the size of an SUV, making it the largest rover to land on Mars. Curiosity was designed to look for more than just water. It was equipped with a full lab on wheels to search for conditions that could support life. Curiosity had a nuclear power source, unlike its solar-powered predecessors, allowing it to operate day and night without worrying about dust storms blocking its energy. Now, that's what it is called technological advancement, right? Curiosity landed in Gale Crater, an area scientists believed might hold clues about Mars' past. And it didn't take long for Curiosity to find something very shocking: organic molecules. These molecules, often called the building blocks of life, suggested that Mars might have had the ingredients necessary to support life billions of years ago. As Curiosity explored further, it found evidence of ancient lakes and streams that had once filled Gale Crater, making it seem even more likely that Mars could have been habitable. One of Curiosity's most groundbreaking discoveries was that Mars's environment changed over time. Rock samples and soil analysis revealed that Mars might have once had conditions that were not only wet, but potentially warm enough to support microbial life. Curiosity showed that Mars wasn't always a frozen desert. It might have been where life could have thrived if the right conditions were present. From Sojourner to Curiosity, each rover mission brought us closer to understanding Mars' complex history. Each rover built upon the last successes and lessons, creating a legacy of exploration that pushed our knowledge further with every mile. But by now, NASA was ready to aim even higher, to find signs of ancient life. And that's where Perseverance entered the picture. So what discoveries awaited Perseverance as it took on Mars with even more advanced tools? Could this newest rover finally solve the biggest question of all? Was Mars ever home to life? Perseverance, the most advanced rover. NASA wasn't about to settle after the groundbreaking success of Curiosity. They wanted a rover that could do even more, a rover that could look for actual signs of past life, and if you can believe it, help clear the way for humans to one day walk on Mars. Perseverance is the most advanced rover we've ever sent to another planet. Launched in July 2020, Perseverance is like the ultimate science toolkit on wheels, packed with gadgets and features that make it a scientist's dream. Perseverance's primary mission? To find signs of ancient microbial life. Based on the previous discoveries by rovers, scientists believe that Mars had a much warmer, wetter climate billions of years ago, one that might have been ideal for tiny life forms. So Perseverance is looking for what NASA calls biosignatures, or traces of ancient life, especially in rock formations. The rover's landing spot, Jezero Crater, was picked for this reason. This crater once held a lake. If there were ever microbes living on Mars, this would be the perfect place to find their remains. But it's not just about looking for signs of life. Perseverance also involves collecting rock and soil samples to bring back to Earth. Yep, NASA is planning a future mission to go pick them up. Why is this such a big deal? Well, rocks on Mars can tell us a lot about the planet's history. By analyzing samples here on Earth, scientists can use every possible tool to find out what Mars was like in its heyday. Think of it as getting a time capsule from ancient Mars. Another huge goal of Perseverance is to help plan for future human missions. Mars is a tough place to survive. A thin atmosphere, freezing nights, and a constant shower of cosmic radiation. But Perseverance is testing out some of the tech that could keep humans safe there one day. For example, it has a device called MOXIE, which is basically a mini oxygen factory. MOXIE's job is to see if we can make breathable oxygen from the carbon dioxide-heavy Martian atmosphere. If it works, future astronauts might be able to breathe Mars air by creating their own oxygen, which could make long-term missions more realistic. Of course, Perseverance wouldn't be complete without a high-tech way to capture Mars in precise detail. Equipped with some of the best cameras ever sent to space, Perseverance is giving us the clearest, most colorful views of Mars' surface we've ever seen. Its cameras aren't just for pretty pictures, though. They're there to help scientists study Mars's geology up close and in high definition. Every ridge, rock, and grain of sand is documented, assisting researchers to understand better what Mars is made of and how its landscape formed. Now here's where things get even cooler. Perseverance didn't travel alone. It brought a little friend. A small helicopter named Ingenuity came along for the ride, ready to take flight and show us what it's like to land on Mars. Ingenuity isn't part of Perseverance's primary mission, but its success could be huge. If a helicopter can fly on Mars, we'll have a whole new way of exploring hard-to-reach places in the future. With all these ambitious goals, Perseverance is more than just a rover. It's a multi-purpose Martian explorer. It's digging into Mars' past, planning for human survival, and experimenting with new technology. Every move Perseverance makes brings us closer to understanding the red planet and what it would take for humans to live there someday. You see, Perseverance didn't just appear overnight. Its journey from an idea to the most advanced rover on Mars, a feat of technology, engineering, and courage. So how did they make this ultimate space explorer? You must have a look at the remarkable process that went into building Perseverance. The making of Perseverance. NASA's mission was clear: create a rover to find signs of ancient life on Mars, collect rock samples, and prepare for human exploration. But that's easier said than done. Engineers needed a machine to survive harsh Martian winters, dodge dust storms, and carry high-tech instruments. After years of planning, prototypes, and testing, the project started planning in 2013 and moved into the building phase in 2016. Think of it this way. Every part of Perseverance was specially made, from its wheels designed to grip the rocky terrain to its body built to endure intense cold and radiation. They even gave it a head full of cameras and sensors. And speaking of cameras, Perseverance has more than any rover before, 23 in total. These aren't just for taking selfies, they're for spotting rocks, drilling, and exploring Mars' bumpy, unpredictable ground. Pretty cool, right? So what high-tech tools make Perseverance such a game changer? Let's start with SuperCam. This laser-powered tool can analyze rocks from afar by firing a laser at them and studying the vapor produced. Think about that. It's basically zapping rocks and figuring out their makeup from a distance. This helps scientists decide if a rock is worth drilling into without the rover having to get too close. And it's not just looking at rocks, it's hunting for clues of life. Then there's Sherlock. No, not Sherlock Holmes, but close. It's an instrument designed to detect organic compounds, the building blocks of life. Sherlock uses ultraviolet light to examine minerals and possible signs of life. Perseverance also has a drill, but not just any drill. This drill is a sample collector that bores into Martian rock, extracts samples, and stores them in special tubes. These tubes are mini time capsules, holding pieces of Mars's history that might one day make their way back to Earth. But it's not just about the tools. Perseverance had to have a way to move smoothly, so engineers gave it an incredible set of wheels to roll over rocks and withstand Mars's rugged terrain. With such a powerful lineup, how does Perseverance compare to its predecessors? Well, Perseverance wasn't NASA's first rover, so what makes it different from the others? For starters, it's the most advanced rover NASA has ever sent to space. Previous rovers like Spirit, Opportunity, and Curiosity were revolutionary in their rights, but Perseverance takes things to the next level. Unlike the solar-powered Spirit and Opportunity, Perseverance, like Curiosity, runs on nuclear power. This keeps it going day and night, through dust storms and cold temperatures, without losing energy. Another standout feature, Perseverance doesn't just explore Mars, it prepares for the future. It carries a mini experiment called MOXIE, which attempts to make oxygen from Mars's carbon dioxide-heavy atmosphere. Think about that for a second. Creating oxygen on another planet. If successful, future astronauts could use this to make breathable air or even rocket fuel, allowing humans to stay longer and travel further. Lastly, Perseverance brought a little buddy, Ingenuity, a tiny helicopter. Ingenuity was the first powered flight on another planet, proving that we could explore Mars from the air. Together, this rover helicopter duo has changed Mars exploration. Ingenuity scouts route for Perseverance and explore areas the rover can't reach. It's like having a drone on Mars. Pretty futuristic, right? Finally, after almost 8 years of high-tech manufacturing, Perseverance left the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in February 2020 for a July launch. 7 minutes of terror. In July 2020, NASA launched its most ambitious Mars mission yet. Perseverance was packed onto an Atlas V rocket and sent hurtling toward Mars. For 7 months, it traveled through the cold, dark space void, getting closer to the red planet. NASA had high hopes for Perseverance, but Mars is a tough place to land. Just getting there is a feat, but landing? That's a different story altogether. After its long journey, Perseverance reached Mars in February 2021. The landing, though, was no simple drop-off. NASA engineers refer to this part as the 7 minutes of terror, and for good reason. Imagine this. As Perseverance entered Mars's atmosphere, it was speeding at 12,000 miles per hour. In just 7 minutes, it had to slow down to a complete stop and land softly on the surface. One tiny error in Perseverance would have ended up as nothing more than a smudge on the Martian dirt. To pull this off, Perseverance used a series of precise controls. First, it had a heat shield that protected it from the fiery entry into Mars's atmosphere. Then came a giant parachute, designed to deploy at exactly the right moment to slow down its descent. But even with the parachute, Perseverance was still going way too fast to land safely. That's when things got really wild. In a final maneuver, a sky crane system took over. Think of it like a crane in reverse. This part involves small rocket thrusters that fired up, allowing the rover to hover above the surface. The crane then gently lowered Perseverance down on cables until it touched the ground. As soon as Perseverance made contact, the wires were cut and the crane flew away to crash safely out of sight. It was a jaw-dropping feat of engineering and precision. Every single step had to be perfectly timed, with no room for error. And guess what? It worked. Perseverance landed right on target in Jezero Crater, an area scientists believe once held a lake billions of years ago. This wasn't just any random spot on Mars. Jezero Crater was chosen because it's one of the most promising places to search for signs of ancient life. This was exactly the kind of environment where life could have flourished, making it the perfect landing zone for a rover with Perseverance's mission. As the dust settled around Perseverance, it began to send back the first images from Jezero Crater. NASA scientists could hardly believe what they were seeing. The crater was filled with intriguing rock formations, ancient river channels, and sediment deposits that could reveal Mars' watery past. Every detail screamed, "This place has a story to tell," and Perseverance was there to start unraveling it. The rover's landing wasn't just an achievement, but a turning point in Mars exploration. The excitement was sky high, both at NASA and around the world. People were glued to their screens, watching as the first high-definition images came through, each one more shocking than the last. It was like we were all standing on Mars, looking across this alien landscape alongside Perseverance. Landing safely was just the beginning, of course. Now that Perseverance had arrived, the real work could start. What secrets would Jezero Crater reveal? And could this ancient lake bed hold clues that Mars once hosted life? So what happens next in Perseverance's journey? And will it uncover evidence that Mars was once alive? Stunning new views of Mars. After a thrilling landing in Jezero Crater, Perseverance was finally ready to show us what Mars really looks like. And it didn't disappoint. Equipped with some of the best cameras ever sent to another planet, Perseverance started snapping high-definition, 4K images that reveal Mars in colors and details we've never seen. The pictures are so clear and vibrant, you can almost feel the gritty Martian dust under your feet and see every pebble on the ground. Jezero Crater itself turned out to be a visual treat. As Perseverance began exploring, it captured everything from towering cliffs and ancient river channels to strange rock formations. The rover's images show a landscape that looks like it's been shaped by forces we know all too well on Earth: water and time. It's a stark, rugged world, but there's a beauty in its rawness, like a forgotten world frozen in time. One of the most exciting finds in Jezero Crater is its sedimentary deposits. These layers of rock and soil are like Mars's very own diary, recording what the environment might have been like ages ago. Perseverance's cameras allow scientists to study these layers closely, looking for signs of ancient water flow and mineral deposits. The presence of these sedimentary layers supports the idea that Mars wasn't always the dry, cold place it is today. Instead, it might have been warmer, with rivers or lakes where tiny life forms could have thrived. Every snapshot from Perseverance brings us closer to understanding how Mars evolved over billions of years. As Perseverance rolls over the Martian surface, its cameras capture a surprisingly diverse color palette. Mars isn't just the red planet. The landscape varies from rusty reds and deep browns to hints of golden yellow. These colors tell scientists a lot about the minerals present on Mars. For example, reddish hues suggest iron-rich minerals, while other shades might indicate the presence of different compounds, hinting at the types of environments that once existed here. It's a fascinating mix, revealing more complexity than expected. The high-tech cameras on Perseverance also give us a closer look at the Martian atmosphere. The sky changes color on Earth depending on the time of day and the weather. But Mars, with its thin atmosphere, has a more shaded look, often tinged with a hazy orange or dusty gray. Perseverance's images capture this atmosphere in motion, swirling dust clouds and faint breezes shaping the land. It's one thing to know Mars has an atmosphere, but seeing it play out in real time brings Mars to life in a way we've never experienced before. One of the critical questions Perseverance is helping scientists tackle is whether Mars was once capable of supporting life. Jezero Crater's mineral-rich rocks and ancient lake beds make it a prime candidate for finding clues to Mars's habitability. In some images, you can see layers of sediment that ancient rivers might have carried into this crater. These deposits are exciting because they could contain the remnants of ancient microbial life, if any existed. It's like a cosmic treasure hunt, with every new rock and layer of soil possibly holding the answer to one of humanity's oldest questions. Perseverance's work in Jezero Crater has only just begun, but it's already showing us Mars in ways we could only dream about before. With every new image, we're getting a clearer picture of what this mysterious planet once was and what it might still be hiding. Each detail adds another piece to the puzzle of Mars's history, transforming our distant neighbor from a cold, empty desert into a dynamic world with a past as rich as Earth's. So what other secrets are hidden in Jezero Crater? And could Perseverance's next discovery finally reveal if Mars was once alive? Shocking discoveries by Perseverance. Imagine looking through a camera lens at Mars, where a thick reddish haze blankets the skies, and the ground is a mix of sharp rocks and smooth sands. NASA's Perseverance rover has shown us Mars like never before. With its high-definition footage, we can now see Mars's skies, weather, and landscape in incredible detail. Each image brings this distant planet closer, helping us understand what it's truly like on Mars, where the sky is dusty, the air is thin, and weather patterns are slowly changing the planet. Mars's atmosphere is unique. It's mostly carbon dioxide, with thin clouds that drift across the sky, occasionally stirring up tiny dust storms. Perseverance has captured these dust devils, small whirlwinds that twist across the red soil. Mars is also incredibly cold, with temperatures far below freezing most of the time. The thin atmosphere means there's no warmth to hold on to, making it a harsh place for life as we know it. As of September 19, 2024, Perseverance has traveled roughly 28 miles, exploring the Martian surface step by step. Its main mission is to find clues about Mars's ancient past, specifically signs of past microbial life. Scientists believe that if life ever existed on Mars, it might have left traces in Jezero Crater. This area, once a lake billions of years ago, has layers of rocks that could hold the secrets of Mars's watery history. It's like a natural archive, with layers of sediment built up over time, possibly capturing and preserving signs of life from a long-gone era. The rock formations in Jezero Crater are fascinating for scientists. On Earth, rocks like these often contain fossils and other signs of ancient life. Perseverance is equipped with a special drill to collect samples from these rocks, which it stores in sealed tubes. These samples could one day be brought back to Earth, allowing scientists to study them closely. Each sample is like a tiny piece of Mars, a piece of history waiting to be examined. If there were microbes on Mars in the past, these rocks might be the best chance we have to find proof. There's a lot of hope around Jezero crater. Scientists think it's the perfect spot for finding signs of ancient life if it ever existed. While initial tests and images look promising, the real evidence will only become clear once we bring the samples back to Earth for in-depth analysis. Perseverance's mission is to explore and gather as many samples as possible, preparing for a future mission that could unlock Mars' secrets. With each discovery, Perseverance helps us understand Mars better. We're seeing the pieces come together to tell a story of a planet that may have once had lakes, rivers, and perhaps even simple life forms. Mars might seem like a quiet, barren place now, but its past might have been much more active. If Mars once had the conditions for life, what does that mean for our search for life beyond Earth? Could Mars even support life again in the future? Ingenuity's historic first flight. Perseverance wasn't alone in its mission to uncover Mars' secrets. It arrived with a companion, a small helicopter named Ingenuity, designed to attempt something never done before: powered flight on another planet. Ingenuity wasn't sent to search for signs of life directly, but to test if it could fly in Mars's thin atmosphere. If successful, it would mark a massive breakthrough in space exploration. And as it turns out, Ingenuity did much more than just prove flight was possible on Mars. Ingenuity and Perseverance landed together on Mars. During their journey, Ingenuity was attached to Perseverance's belly. They both landed in Jezero crater on February 18, 2021. After landing, Perseverance spent a few weeks carefully deploying Ingenuity, setting it down on the Martian surface, and moving a safe distance away to allow Ingenuity to attempt its historic flights. Ingenuity's first flight took place on April 19, 2021, when it lifted about 10 feet into the air, hovered for 39 seconds, and then gently touched back down. It might seem like a simple hop, but this small flight changed everything. It was the first powered flight on another planet, a significant accomplishment in space history. In that brief moment, Ingenuity showed that Mars's thin, carbon dioxide-rich atmosphere wasn't an obstacle too big to overcome. It opened a new door to exploring Mars in ways never imagined. After its successful debut, Ingenuity continued to impress. Initially planned for only a handful of flights over 30 days, it's now completed over 50 flights. With each journey, Ingenuity has proven itself more useful, exploring Martian terrain and acting as a scout for Perseverance. Flying over rocky landscapes and identifying potential obstacles has given Perseverance valuable guidance. Together, this duo, one on wheels, one in the air, has expanded our reach on Mars, exploring more areas than a single rover could have managed alone. Ingenuity's aerial view is priceless for mapping Jezero crater, Perseverance's leading exploration site. By hovering above, it can capture images of the landscape, showing scientists new routes and points of interest. It spots areas that might hold signs of ancient life, guiding Perseverance toward promising sites. This combination of ground-level analysis from Perseverance and aerial scouting from Ingenuity provides the most comprehensive view of Mars we've ever had. The success of Ingenuity's flights means more than just cool images and helpful navigation. It's a hint at the future of space exploration. Now that NASA has confirmed that flight on Mars is possible, it opens up possibilities for future missions with even more advanced aerial explorers. Imagine a fleet of small helicopters or drones that could explore Mars' most difficult-to-reach places, from steep canyons to tall volcanoes. This could drastically change how we study Mars and other planets with thin atmospheres. Ingenuity's flights are a proof of concept that might inspire the next generation of Mars explorers. Each new flight shows how much Ingenuity has already changed Mars exploration. Originally just a test device, it's now an essential part of Perseverance's mission. As Ingenuity flies over unfamiliar terrain, it helps plan Perseverance's journey and spot areas that might yield exciting discoveries. This rover helicopter team has made Mars exploration more dynamic, creating a partnership combining ground and aerial insights. With Ingenuity's ongoing success, it's natural to wonder what the future holds. Will larger, more capable helicopters join future Mars missions? Could we see drones mapping Mars from above, uncovering hidden parts of the planet that rovers can't reach? Ingenuity's journey has only just begun, and with every flight, it's showing us that the skies of Mars are full of potential. Perseverance has changed Mars exploration forever, uncovering clues of ancient life and opening doors to future missions, even human ones. With each discovery, we're closer to knowing if Mars was ever truly alive. And who knows, maybe humans will walk there one day. What discovery of Mars surprised you the most? Comment below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.